So the layer hens here have 200 of them, and they've spent most of winter inside. They can go out into this polytunnel whenever they want, but when it's been minus 24, minus 26 degrees Celsius, there's only one that spent the night here. She's spent the night on this round thing here, and it's pretty amazing that they can choose by themselves to want to be in minus 24 degrees. Even though all her friends were indoors in the house or in the shed, and the shed has worked so perfectly, because when it's been this cold, then I haven't been needed to heat it up at all. It's just their body heat has heated up the whole place. Maybe also a little bit the bedding. So I just closed the windows and closed the door, and even at minus 24 outside, it's been a nice comfortable temperature inside. The water hasn't frozen, the eggs haven't frozen, so it's been really, really good. And that I don't have to heat it up with heat lamps or any form of, heating at all is amazing, really. Just by their own body heat. I'm happy about that it's working. But I want them to move out a bit more, because the temperatures are really on the plus side now, and it's going to be the whole week. On Saturday, I think we're even getting +7, which is unseasonably warm. So I'm gonna move the roosts from that section in here, and I'm moving out the food slowly. I have one over there so they can see it. I only have one inside now and 3 outside. So yeah, with these animals you really need to be really careful not to make too drastic changes at once. You have to do things slowly, because any kind of change creates a stress for them. So I've done this today. Tomorrow I'll maybe move out the water, and then maybe move the roost so they have some, or the perch, that's what it's called, the perch, so they can have some place to sit here. So this might sound a little strange, but I get a lot of joy out of doing this, emptying the chicken coop, because I see like what I'm doing is just one little part of a bigger scheme of things. Their poop, their droppings is mixed with, wood shavings. So you have the nitrogen, then you have the carbon. And you have microorganisms that are ready in this, and when I move it out to be composted, you have the microorganisms. Nature is providing those for us. They are ready. They are like eager to work for us, and so this is their food, microorganism food. And This is going to turn into a beautiful, wonderful compost, which we can then, you know, both on the farm, grow vegetables in, like really nutritious, nice vegetables. And also, since I donate a lot of manure to other vegetable growers around here, this will also provide them with really, really beautiful, wonderful, nutrient-dense veggies. And yeah, it's just this whole cycle of life that a farmer can become part of if he or she chooses to. And it also makes me think how sad it is that there's so many farmers that are stuck in their production models, in a way of producing food that is not healthy for them or for the planet or for the, you know, the ecosystem around them. But it's hard to change your ways when you're stuck. You're indebted, like deeply indebted, because you have all these machines and everything. You have salaries that you need to pay, and it really makes things a lot more difficult to make big changes, necessary changes, maybe even. So yeah, I really try to keep a hold of my debt on the farm, not become too indebted, and which makes it possible for me to spend time you know, taking it slow and working more with nature rather than against. So there's the term that I really like, that's feeding the soil food web. The regenerative practices and regenerative like food production is really about seeing yourself as part of a bigger scheme, putting the farmers somewhere within this web, this intricate symbiosis built on cooperation and built on being mutually beneficial. It's a way of thinking when it comes to food production that we really need a lot more of in this world. You often hear people like futurists, you know, everyone is looking, not everyone, but a lot, it's very easy to look up to other planets. That's the savior for humanity, you know, we're looking up, we're going to colonize other worlds when life on Earth isn't, you know, livable anymore. But I would really, instead of looking up, I would look down, you know, look down onto the soil, look down on beneath the ground. There's a universe down there that we don't yet understand, and yet we are doing so much damage to it through our practices. Yeah, it's a nice thought, but it's not easy. There's a lot working against it, but I can be happy, at least I'm doing my little part here. Quite a misty day here on the farm. It's actually quite beautiful. Snow is melting slowly, ice as well. Gonna get some rain this afternoon, so that's why I'm trying to get some tarps here on to cover the manure pile. I've left the pile uncovered during the winter so that it'll get a little bit of moisture on it, because it was very dry, especially the straw bedding from where the ewes are. The straw bedding from sheep is a lot drier than straw bedding from cattle. Anyone who works with cattle knows that cattle can get pretty messy, pretty sloppy. So this is a lot of sheep, really dry sheep manure. So I wanted it to get its moisture so that the composting process can sort of be activated. Even in winter, when it's cold outside, the inside of the pile stays warm. It's burning a little bit, noticing smoking a little when I'm or heating a little when I'm digging around. So now we're sort of aerating it, which is good, because it makes sure that there are no anaerobic spots where there's no oxygen. Doing that, taking care of the compost heap and cleaning out a little bit around, and then I'm gonna put the tarps over, because the tarps are also gonna keep the heat in a little bit, so that the composting will even take place on the surface, because otherwise you have you get sort of a lid on top that doesn't compost. Yeah, but I'll turn this maybe once or twice more during the spring. We both spread it on our fields, some of our fields, as you know, nourishment back to the roots. We even give it away to some people living close to here who have gardens, and yeah, another composting company that sell compost. They get a little bit of this too, animal manure, because they're only composting leaves and branches and that kind of organic matter. So they're really happy to take care of some of our manure. Yeah, spread the wealth, I say. So look at this. So what I'm holding in my hand is, this is life. These are the conditions to life in the palm of your hand. This is manure turned compost turned soil. Amazing. Black. Smells earthy, smells rich. And it might look lifeless, it might look dead, but I found a few earthworms, but apart from them are all the sort of invisible creatures that, not invisible, but invisible to the naked eye, the creatures you need a microscope to see, to look at. And they live here. This is their home. So I feel, yeah, I feel so grateful. This is like all of civilization and all of humanity depends on this stuff. And the fact that we can make it, that we can turn animal manure into living soil through the right conditions and the right and patience, the right time. Yeah, I just feel so grateful. This is so fantastic when you see the end result. So this is what it's about, creating living soils. Yeah, amazing. So it's together with, you know, the animals, the grazers, not only horses but the sheep and the cattle, that that we can, you know, close the loop of this system. The perennial grasses that come year after year, grazed by the animals, harvested by the farmer, and then fed to the animals in winter, and then what comes out the other end is composted and turned back into soil, or compost, which is reintroduced out into the fields or out into nature, where it does good, where it's a slow release of nutrients. Compost speaks the same language as the soil in a way. The microbes, the life is familiar. Studies have shown that when you add synthetic fertilizers, they get a little bit lazy. The microorganisms and you know, the fungi and all the life under the soil, since it doesn't need to work in order to convert, you know, carbohydrates into minerals and nutrients and sugars to feed roots. Making soil should be every farmer's highest priority, no doubt. It's the language of nature, that the language of life, that a farmer needs to be able to speak and interpret and understand in order to you know, be a good steward, and hopefully one day leave the land a little bit better condition than we found it, or than we inherited.